over doesn't mean you can eat whatever you want. Come on, let's go. Let's get this video done.
Well, that was no fun. I wanted to eat that pizza. It looked pretty good. It smelled pretty good too. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys liked that little introduction that we had. And today we're going to talk about our 120 days of fitness. How that challenge, I guess you can say, is finally over. High five. We're done. We've completed it. And let's talk about how we did. Sounds good? Let's get to it.
Okay. All right, do you want to start?
Yeah, sounds good. So for me, at the start, I started at 208.4 pounds, and around my waist or around my stomach, I measured in at 108 centimeters all the way around on the nose. And today, after 120 days, I measured in at 162.4 pounds, which is a total loss of, I think, 46 pounds.
That's amazing.
And around my waist, I was at 88.0 centimeters. So that's down.
That's amazing.
What is that, 18, 19?
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't figure it out.
That's amazing.
The numbers will be posted up here. So overall, pretty good, I think. Not quite what my goal was. My goal was to be down at 145, so which is, I guess, pretty ambitious.
It was, yeah.
But there's still time, you know.
Yep.
I'm still alive.
Yep.
Anyways, how'd you do?
So I started at 109.4, and I got down to 99.8 pounds.
Nice.
Just under.
Just that shy under
10.
10. Couldn't quite get there, eh?
I know. I couldn't.
I
couldn't get under.
No, you did.
But
You
it
did
was
amazing.
It was
You
good.
did. You not like me, where you had an extra 60, 70 pounds to lose. So.
And then for my waist, I was at 28 inches, and I got down to 25 inches.
Yeah,
so
that's
pretty
like
happy with that.
About 7.5 centimeters for those that like good
Metric.
units of measurement. I think it would be a good time to talk about kind of 4 main takeaways, I guess you can say, from our journey. And these are things that you can probably incorporate into your lifestyle if this is something that you want to do, if you want to try to lose some weight.
Well, and not just that, I think like stuff that will continue to maintain.
Of course,
Right?
absolutely, yeah. I mean, we could do videos upon videos, and I'm sure we will, about all the stuff that we're going to be doing. But this is just kind of a recap of what we have done and what's kind of worked for us. So the first thing that we did, which was probably the best thing, is intermittent fasting.
Yeah, 100%.
So for me, I generally stuck to eating 1 meal a day. So I'd skip breakfast, skip lunch, and then have all the nutrients that I needed or whatever in 1 meal at supper time when I came home from work. I did experiment sometimes with going 2 or 3 days without food, but for the most part, I ate 1 meal a day.
Yeah, and I would go back and forth. I started just really doing what they call a 16 and 8, where I would fast for 16 hours and then have an 8-hour eating window. So generally, I would just eat lunch and supper. But then I would I've gone up to just like 1 meal a day too, just to see how I feel and how that works. And I like both. Both have worked really well for me.
Yeah, and some people are like, oh, I can't skip breakfast, or there's no way I'd be able to do that. Just try it. Like, it's honestly, it's not that hard. Once your body gets used to it, you're not even hungry anymore. And we've said before in many videos, just try to keep yourself occupied and keep yourself busy. And then over time, you're just not going to start thinking about food anymore. And it's going to be less of a thing of like, oh, I want food and I'm craving all these things, to just being like, I guess I got to stop what I'm doing and I got to eat because my body needs that energy or that nutrition or whatever, right? So
and it's interesting too. I'm sure we'll talk more about this later, but because I'm such a science nerd, there's so many other benefits to fasting, just regardless of
forget
weight
about
loss.
fat loss. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's so many other amazing benefits, which we'll definitely talk about later on.
Yeah, and we've already touched upon on our podcast.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard, you should check that out. Point number 2 is keeping up with regular exercise. We didn't do anything crazy. I wasn't going to the gym doing crazy training or anything like that. It was just simply kind of our day-to-day regular exercising. We'd go for walks quite often, and I would just do some calisthenics workouts, very quick stuff. I'm talking like 3 sets of squats and push-ups and pull-ups, just very, very simple stuff. And I'd bike to work and I'd play tennis and squash. Just simple, almost everyday kind of thing. Just try to incorporate it into your daily routine. And I know for you, well, why don't you explain what you did?
So I either do like the elliptical or I do like a interval run on the treadmill, and I'll lift weights. I have kind of like a weight routine that I do, and it's about 6 days a week, and it's only for about 40 minutes to an hour every day.
So very simple.
Very simple, nothing crazy. We're not training for anything crazy, and we just kept it really basic, something that's really easy and time to fit into our day.
Yeah. And we'll probably kick it up a little bit more now that we want to build some extra muscle. But if you're just wanting to start your journey and do some extra fat loss, just try to get to the gym or try to get moving as much as possible.
Just go for a walk. Honestly, just go for a walk.
Yeah, everything helps.
The third thing that we did that really helped was really watching what we were eating. So not eating any processed garbage or shit, which is something that we already kind of did, but this time we were a bit better. And we also completely cut out alcohol, which is something we're going to continue with moving forward.
Yeah, and I'll say that the cutting out of processed foods, I mean, we weren't 100% successful. I mean, obviously there's times you'd have a cupcake or have some Smarties or whatever, right? And somebody's birthday, you have a slice of birthday cake. Yeah. You know, so there's anything too crazy at all. But what we were 100% strict on was the alcohol consumption. We didn't consume one drop since we started the 120 days. And like Andrew said, we're gonna keep up with that because it's just really makes you feel like crap.
Well, it makes you feel like crap, and I just feel like you work so hard during the week, and it's the same with eating, right? You work so hard during the week to eat really well and to work your ass off, literally work your ass off, and then to go and have drinks or a bunch of shitty food, and it's just like, I just wasted all my time. All that work was for nothing, to feel good for a few minutes.
Yeah, and I think it depends on your personality. Like I know for me, because when I combine alcohol, then it's just like, the inhibitions are you just don't think, obviously you don't think as clearly, and you're just like, okay, for me anyways, it's just like, all right, well, maybe I'm gonna go order some pizza then with it, or and then it just snowballs. And I don't want to experience that and to deal with that anymore, so I was like, I might as well just cut it out. Like if there's any special occasions that it happens, then sure, maybe we'll have a drink or two, but even then I'm like, what's the point? Like, what's the point really? So no more alcohol, and I think I'm good with that decision. And the last thing, which could arguably be the most important, is us supporting each other and having each other's back. So we've mentioned this in a video before. It's having someone that you can talk to about the good days and also, especially, I guess, the bad days. It's really important to have that person that you can count on to say, like, you know what, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, you had a cookie, but you know what? You'll get back at it tomorrow and move on, and it's not the end of the world. Yeah, exactly. And a really big key I find is to not get too high and not get too low. So when you have a really great day or whatever, I mean, just relax. You're not going to lose like 3 pounds every single day or something like that if you're measuring your weight every day.
Expectations
unless those very, very rare cases, but we're not going to get into that. But and the same goes for if you have a really, really bad day where you're like, oh, you gained a pound or whatever. Like, just relax, maybe it's some extra water or whatever, who knows, like, don't get so low and don't beat yourself up, because then you can start getting some negative thoughts. And for me, springboarding off you saying like, oh, I'm feeling bad or whatever, or vice versa, you telling me it's like, oh, this is whatever, it's like, calm down, it's not that bad, and just stick with the process, right?
And just, I think, because obviously we live together, not having shitty food in the house, that really helped. Or if it was one day where I'm just like, oh, I don't really want to go to the gym, and you're like, come on, don't be a little bitch, get up and go.
Let's go, fatty.
Get
your ass on that.
You need that, like, sometimes it's just you have that inner bitch that you need to conquer, and that's, if you have someone kind of there cheering you on, it's easier to be like, I gotta go. Yeah,
absolutely. So those are really the 4 main things that we did in this 120 days, and honestly, it's not that hard. If we can do it, you guys can do it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just to recap, have a support system, have someone that you can bounce your thoughts and ideas off of. Get rid of the bad food, the processed foods. We didn't actually mention this, but try to limit how much meat we're intaking, and that's a whole nother story, because we're trying to go basically cut out all meat and animal and go more vegetarian, vegan, I guess you can say. We'll unpack that later on, and all the health benefits that are associated with that. And of course, limiting alcohol, or eliminating alcohol, I would say. Just doing regular exercise, just getting out there, moving, doing activities, sports, going to the gym, doing some lifting, nothing too crazy. And of course, intermittent fasting. So just timing when you eat, not even worrying about what you eat so much, but the timing of it, because there's huge benefits and huge chemistry that goes on in your body.
It's such a powerful tool. I don't think we can overstate how powerful it is.
Which is why I guess it was
number one.
Okay, that wraps up our 120 days of fitness and everything that we've done to get to the point where we are now. And before we wrap up this video, I think it would be a good time to talk about how we feel, how this whole process has kind of changed us and how we feel energy wise or whatever. So why don't you kick us off and tell us how you feel?
Okay, well, like, not only do I feel better because I've lost some weight and I fit into my clothes better, but just like mentally, I feel better. I have better energy. I think my hormones are kind of balancing out a bit more, which is something that I was kind of having trouble with.
You're sleeping a lot better.
I'm sleeping 100% better. This is the best sleep I've had in a long time.
Yeah.
So that's definitely been great.
Yeah, that's good. It's interesting you mentioned about like losing clothes. I mean, for me, I think I've shrunk. Probably the one belt I had, I was on the last notch. And then it had 6 notches, so I went all the way down to that one, and then I had to get a new belt, and then that one I went down. I started at the first one, and then I was down. Now I'm down at the third one. So I've lost like 7 notches or whatever on a belt, and I've had to get my jeans that I was wearing. They were 38 waist, and now I'm at 32 waist, and they're too big.
You're like constantly like donation piles.
Yeah,
like,
so I have like 2 pairs of pants, and that's it, and I just wear just a regular t-shirt just till I finally get that stability. So that's obviously you feel really good and you feel really confident in the stuff that you're wearing. So that's a huge plus. And for me, like I find. Like, I don't know if I could say my sleep has been better or worse because I think I never had too much of an issue, but it's probably better. Trying to get into a whole new routine with sleep. But just overall, like, energy level is same as you. It's just really high. And I find that I perform in sports a whole lot better than I was before. Because obviously, I mean, I have like 45 less pounds, so I can move around the court a lot quicker. I could bike faster. And then my endurance is like, I don't know what my VO2 max is or whatever. I haven't done any crazy metrics like that, but I can tell that I can get more oxygen in.
Just your perception.
Just everything is it's just better. So overall, it's everything's better. It's like there's literally no like downside. There's like, oh yeah, I've lost too much weight and now I'm sluggish. It's like no, it's like it's not like that, know. So it's everything's just all positive. So highly recommended for anybody that wants to lose a bit of weight and
just feel better.
Feel better,
Yeah,
that's pretty much all there is to it. So that's it.
So what next?
I think I have an idea.